Are you ready? Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this meeting of the Public Safety Personnel Retirement System Fire Board on Wednesday, July 21st, 2021 at 9:30 a.m. Could we have a roll call, please?
Chair Miles.
Here.
Board Member Boone.
Here.
Board Member Borker.
Here.
Board Member Ellico.
Here.
And Board Member Gilbert.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
For which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible,
visible,
with
liberty,
and justice for all.
justice for all.
This morning, our first order of business is to approve the meeting minutes of April 28th, 2021. Has everyone had a chance to review those minutes? Could I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor, aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. We have no appointments. There is no issue under fire personnel, so we'll move on to call to the public. Members of the public can attend in person, submit written comments, or register to call into the Zoom meeting. Did we have anyone, Clerk Meredith, that wanted to speak?
No written comments were received and nobody registered to join us this morning.
Okay, then we will move on to announcements. Are there any announcements about availability or attendances at conferences and/or seminars? Clerk Meredith, have we heard anything about the league conference, which I know most of the council will be attending next month? Are there any PSPRS?
I have not received any specifics on the breakouts that will be provided at the league conference, but there will be, myself included, Manager Foggin, and several members of council in attendance.
So if it... August 31st through...
The last week of August,
Yes.
so the 31st through the 3rd, I believe.
Yeah, till that Friday. And some of it may be by Zoom. I don't know, we were discussing last night the fact that it's still premature to know exactly if they're going to have it just as they expect. It will depend on how COVID continues in its surging, so, but we expect to be able to go down there. Okay, there's no old business, so our new business is to acknowledge Glenn McFarland Nelson's retirement from PSPRS. I guess I would like a motion on that acknowledgement. Okay, we have a motion to acknowledge Mr. Nelson's retirement. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to...
Can we discuss that?
We absolutely can.
I just had a quick question. Usually we see the information that's provided. Oh, sorry.
Christy can't hear you, have to turn it on.
There we go. Okay, usually we see the information, the packet, to make sure everything's submitted, and we see the years of service to make sure it correlates directly to what he would get for his benefits. And typically we see that. Was that sent in?
I do not send that out electronically because of the confidential nature of it, but I do have it. I can grab it really quick if you'd like to look at it.
Okay, usually it's in our packet, and I just didn't know if that's something that we needed to review before we approve it, or if it's...
You don't have to review it, but if you would like to, I am more than happy to run and grab it off my desk really quick.
Okay, no, I think we'll be okay, but usually we just review that. I know that there's been some times where members have not here but have missed a month and are ready to retire and it didn't fit. So they're like, oh, I had that month of sick leave, I wasn't in PSPRS. It allows us the opportunity to review it to make sure that before we approve it and it gets sent that they're not shorted time or anything like that. So
Does this go through HR first? Clerk.
No, the members come to my office and we fill out all the paperwork together. I print it off, they sign it, I add all the supporting documentation. We schedule the board meeting for the acceptance of the retirement. So I do have it prepared and ready if anyone would like to see it.
Well, I know in the past, when you've had documents, you've always informed us that we could stop by and look at them, medical documents particularly, which you didn't want to send electronically. But, so what I'm hearing is the documents that you do at retirement also have confidential information.
Correct, it has all the personal identifying information of the individual.
So perhaps it would just be good to remind us that to stop by and look at it if you're not going to send it out, or dedact the information and that's confidential. And
I can do whichever the board likes. I can bring it with me, and I just didn't bring it today, and I have done that in the past, brought it with me to the meeting in case anybody wanted to see it, and we can pass it around. So whichever the board prefers, I'm happy to do.
what would you prefer?
I think if we have the opportunity to, maybe a quick, if you want to stop by the office before the meeting and review it, or also to have it here in case there were questions, would be helpful.
Okay,
I don't think that there's any mistakes that are made on any side, but I know from a membership side, when they fill out this paperwork, I mean, we're only doing it once, when we get ready to retire, basically. So it's always helpful to have individuals like us that maybe have seen it multiple times to ask them, don't forget about this. And like one of the things would be a certain language in a divorce decree. That's extremely important, because when it goes to the state and it's not in there, there is that chance, which I've talked to other membership around the state, where someone else might have access to that because it wasn't filed correctly. So we just want to make sure that's all covered by having that second or maybe third set of eyes on it. So
a
however
really
that would
good
work,
idea.
if the individual feels uncomfortable, block out their social security number or whatever that would look like, but I think we should at least have the opportunity to look at it.
I agree.
So,
For sure, I can grab it really quick. I have it right on top of my desk for processing after this is over. I can go grab it, you guys can give it a quick review?
Okay. Well, it'll just take her a minute to get it, so then we can look at it.
and I didn't mean to make this meeting any longer.
No,
I just
that-
want to make sure
Hey,
that we're covering
There's
this.
substance here. This
Yes.
is a good thing.
Yeah.
This is a good thing. That's a really good point. I guess I had kind of thought that it would go through an HR process, including Annie, of course, but I guess it doesn't.
HR can help facilitate some of the paperwork, but they really aren't involved in the process. And one of the
Okay.
things that I did when I went into the drop is I had payroll do an audit, and then I had Psprs do an audit to make sure the days and months and years matched up
a really
before
good
I
idea.
filed my paperwork, because there were times throughout a long career where you're sick or you take FMLA and you just want to make sure that everything is lined
Matches.
up so you're not losing time,
Right.
and that's
No, I
good to look
understand.
at.
Yeah, like with a sooner retire member in October, he's had multiple times where he's injured himself, and he's lost a lot of time. And I know even him going in a drop, it was an issue, like where Psprs and the city of Kingman weren't 100% matching up in his contributions. So luckily, I believe they found it beforehand, but
Good.
so just to
Yeah.
avoid any of
It
that.
is critical. I know, just when I retired, but in the county, we worked with HR a lot, and the ASRS. Thank you. This is on the topic, but, yeah. Yeah, I'm wondering if it should it should always go through several hands. A lot of information. I can see why you don't just send it out. Is there any additional discussion regarding this retirement? Then I would, since we have a motion and a second, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Any opposed, nay? Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Are there any future agenda items?
I have a suggestion that I think would be helpful just for this moment that we're having is, would you be willing to set up an appointment with myself and Jeff and just maybe take 15 minutes and review the paperwork process that you do in order to get members ready? And the reason I suggest that, should something happen to one of our members where we have to file that paperwork on their behalf, it would be nice to know, just as a recap of everything that they would need, and to have in a document somewhere that a family member could easily hand to us, and then we could help get them that paperwork. So maybe just a 15-minute, hey, checklist. I know those checklists are online too, but I think it would be helpful to maybe see what the process is that you have to go through.
For sure, and that's a great idea, Board Member Borker. I was going to recommend a legislative update because there was some Psprs legislation actually specifically regarding this matter, and that some of these will not even come to the local boards anymore. The paperwork will go directly to Psprs. So I think that would work out well if that was to take effect, to have you guys check it over.
I agree. And so that legislative update, we just had one last night, but I don't think it really went into detail on this subject. And there is some legislation that we may want to consider, as Annie was saying, on a future agenda, because the Tri-City Council is going to be discussing one piece of that. And at this moment, I don't have the information, so I would suggest we put that on a future agenda. But that one has to do with having a board that is regional rather than individual cities. So that's a discussion that will be taking place, and we'll need to put that on the agenda. Anything else? Okay, I'm waiting for Annie to,
I have nothing else.
okay. Then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. The meeting's adjourned. Thank you.